Hello, welcome to Haf Talk live on Facebook. Today we're bringing you an amazing topic, a topic that is rarely spoken about. And yes, my name is Ute Joshua Young, and I'll be the host of this program for today. Today we're bringing you an amazing topic, as I said, youth unemployment slash youth unemployability. Where did we miss it? This is a topic that is rarely discussed because in most African countries it is believed that unemployment is a major issue. It's an economic crisis that is ravaging most of the African countries. But one of the questions I like to ask, and I believe would be answered today, is it actually just youth unemployment, or youth unemployability is a bigger issue that we need to look into? And today we'll be having an amazing guest in the studio. His name is Mr. Chris Sam. He is a socialpreneur that has been in that sector for over 10 years. He will be giving us all we need to know about this cause. And please drop your comments and your thoughts at the comments box. We'll get back to you. Thanks. Hello, Mr. Chris. Welcome to Haf Talk live on Facebook. We're very excited to have you here. So, sir, you just tell us a brief about yourself, and then we'll dive into the topic. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua. You've been doing a great job, and I would like to commend you on all of your rural activities with Haf Foundation. Sometimes I wish all NGOs should look, where the needs are actually, where they need to drive at their attention. And everybody's focused in doing all of their advocacy at the urban centers, and sometimes they even forget about the rural area. Thank you very much for your efforts. I'm so excited, and it's a privilege to be on Haf Talk Live. And the topic that we're about to discuss is very, very sensitive, and it's very, very important. But there's nothing much to talk about myself. I'm just someone who is trying to see how I can, in my little way, impact and also, become a good role model to the young people. So I'm just Chris Sam.
Okay, you're welcome, sir. So, sir, I will just go direct to the topic because the topic is a question on its own. So, youth unemployment and youth unemployability, where did we really mix it as an African continent? Where did we miss it?
Like I usually say, when it has to do with unemployment or you talk about unemployability, the topic itself is self-explanatory, especially when it has to do with the African continent. It's quite unfortunate that most times a lot of persons focus their attention on unemployment. And see, when it comes to unemployment, the government are blamed. Most corporate bodies are blamed for all of that. But sometimes I think we need to look into the aspect of unemployability. The young men, the young women, the young people, the youths that need these jobs, are they employable? You see, there's one thing to seek for a space in a corporation, and there's another thing to fit in on the position that is available. It has nothing to do with your certificate, it has nothing to do with the school that you attend, but it has so much to do with your personal principles. Not just your personal principle, it has to do with the basic things you've learned about just the development and the growth of that corporation. How many young men and women in Africa have spent time to understand that the mission statement of an organization is actually the key for employment? Everyone is like, I actually went to school, I have this certificate, but do you know the mission of this organization that you are applying to work? So unemployability is, to me, actually, and I know most of the viewers have their different or a contrary opinion, but to me, unemployability is the problem. How ready are the youths of Africa? A lot of things have been introduced all over the world. Now, today's world is a global community. There's so much information online, there's so much things, so much distraction too. But you see, a lot of young men and women in Africa spend their time on those things that actually distract their attention from the necessary, content that is available all over the social media. where they need to develop themselves for employment.
Okay, sir. So a bit away from the youth, and then looking at other issues that have arisen. There's this myth that the government, mostly in African countries, let me not just say the government, leadership in African countries has a way of keeping the young person out grounded. That means not giving them the necessary skills they need to be employable. So, sir, I don't know, what would you want to say about that?
Yes, there were times in my life I believed that statement. I actually thought everything that has to do, in fact, the ill fate of Africa itself, I blame it to the government. But in today's world, I think I beg to differ, because I don't want to blame the government anymore. There are a lot, in fact, this COVID break has taught me a lot of lessons. So many platforms came online with free courses, free training, basic training that can help actually prepare someone for the post-COVID era. Now, the question is, how many young people sign up for all of this? It has nothing to do with the government. When you are ready to develop yourself, it becomes your self-interest. Self-development and sustainable growth is an individual decision. Now, if the young men and women of our continent, of our great continent, Africa, understand the importance of researching for the basic knowledge that can prepare them for the battle out there, then the government won't be blamed. Now, we all know there are no jobs. Currently, the government, there are no jobs. In fact, in Nigeria, most of the states are complaining of lack of funds to pay workers. Now, entrepreneurship is a very good breakout for every young man. Yes, funding is the problem. Yes, how to access finance and all of that is the problem. But the question is, do you have the basic knowledge that can prepare you in case someone wants to finance you? You see, when young people begin to explore those areas that can help them develop, that's when you begin to see Africa change. That's when you begin to understand that it's not unemployment actually. The real problem was unemployability. When we make ourselves employable, then we can complain about unemployment.
Okay, so sir, in a nutshell, what are those skills you think young persons can start buying into that would prepare them for getting employable? And is it possible that young persons can stop looking at being employed and start looking at creating jobs for other young persons?
Yes, I think I go for the latter. I think it's very important every young person start dreaming on how to create jobs for themselves and for people. But when you talk about basic skills to make you employable, the first skill I would like to advise, in fact, the first skill is how to research using Google. That's a basic skill. Go there. There are a lot of things you can learn from Google. There are a lot of things, questions you need to ask Google, and it will give you an answer. And another basic skill, very, very important, your attitude. What's your attitude to work? Another thing people actually don't look. I don't want to mention most of the soft skills because I believe most of our viewers have been in a lot of seminars where these things are discussed.
Yeah.
But I want to focus my attention on attitude. The attitude, your individual attitude towards growth and towards development and work. What's your attitude towards work? If I give you a chance to work, how will you handle it? Will you help my business grow? Or will you be centered on making money? Yeah. Because that's the mistake. People think working has to do with getting paid. No. To work has nothing to do with getting paid. To work has a lot to do with developing yourself. When you see it from that angle, you will begin to understand why every business has a mission statement. Now, when you connect yourself with the mission statement of an organization, you will see that you as an individual, you grow faster.
Yeah.
But when your mind is centered on the money you get to go and eat, to buy things and all of that, you won't help the organization grow and you will not learn anything.
Exactly. Okay, so viewers, just as we said, if you have comments or thoughts you want to share, just drop it on the comment button and we will get back to you. So sir, this will be our very last question. Sir, we want to know, what is your advice to every young person out there that is going to come across this video? What is your advice to the young teeming African persons?
My advice to young people, especially the ones watching, there are lots of opportunities out there. Research. Go on, begin to search, use your device in the right way. Forget about the fashion trend, forget about Instagram posts. The latest one is how do they call it, TikTok. Forget about all of those things. Use your phone wisely, and I, as a person, if I tell you the things I use my phone to do, you will be amazed. So there are a lot of opportunities available. So I would advise young people to explore on all the best opportunities, all the best practices that can help them develop faster. And not just that, every opportunity given to you, seize it and use it wisely.
Okay, thank you very much, viewers. I am sure you've learned a lot from what Mr. Chris has said today, and you're going to develop yourself. And remember, this is a post-COVID era. I believe I like to call this era the post-COVID era because I believe we're already living the COVID era. So stay safe. Remember to keep to all the guidelines of COVID-19. And yes, on our comment box today, we'll be dropping sites where you can get opportunities that will help you develop yourself as a young person, that would help you become employable. Thank you for staying tuned with us, and God bless you. See you next weekend as we're going to be bringing another amazing person your way. Thank